How y'all doing, folks? Today is a lesson video, which I don't do very often. We're going to look at Benderless bending. Sort of like a non-alcoholic beer, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, you're going to the pressure's going to be on your fingers to do some real pushing around. So this will be sort of like a workout. We'll start with some basic stuff and then look at some more advanced stuff also. I'm tuned down a half step. I've been playing on these 11s a lot and they're a little shot, so I don't feel like fighting. Not going to be a hero tonight. So tune down if you need to get started with these because they can be a little bit tough. So that's the first one. You're taking a basic triad, kind of the Hendrix shaped triad, one of them anyway. Your major third, your fifth, and your root. It sort of looks like the middle three notes of a C chord on the D, G, and B. So you're bending the major third up to the 4, then you're bending the 5 up to the 6, and then that's it. And it's sort of just like going to the 4 chord. Sounds like this, except more in tune. And you can make it a little bendy, more bender-like, like a double bender like Jimmy Olander does, by pushing the G string twice. So you're bending with your ring finger, and you want to kind of get a fulcrum motion like this. You want to make it real mechanical so you can use the muscles in your forearm. And then the hard part is pushing the G straight up with your index without moving your middle finger. Let's see if I can do it again. So I don't always nail it. You can hear I'm bending it real out of tune right now. Alright, so that's the first one. Give that one a shot. It's a little tricky. The next one, I'll play it slow first. This is a nice one. So the first thing we're doing is going to our G major chord shape right here. And we're starting on the 5th, which is D on the 3rd fret of the B. And then we're going to pre-bend that 4th fret of the G up to the 5th fret note, which is a B up to a C. Except you want it to be in tune, so that's the tricky part. So you may want to bend it a couple times going up so you can feel where the note is in tune and get used to the amount of pressure it takes. This is another one where you need one finger to stay stationary so it stays in tune. And you're going to use this sort of like mechanical bending, and you just get used to how far this twitch goes. And it programs into your forearm. And like I said, I'm a half step down because I don't feel like being a damn hero. So it's a little bit different feel for me. Just like a major scale kind of run. Now this next part, it's the crazy part. We're going to slide up from C to D on the 5th to the 7th fret of the G. And we're bending that note D all the way up to E, a whole step. Now the trick here is to roll your index finger up so that you're using just that little oval at the tip, so that way the B string snaps and touches the G string. And then when you're releasing the G back down, you're also pushing the B up a half step. Sounds very steel guitar. Alright, so that's the next one. Here's another cool one. This one's, I think, fits nice over like an A minor walking up to a C. And then to like a G or something. Basic, mainstream. So this is kind of tricky. We're going to put our ring finger and pinky on the 12th fret of the G and B respectively. And put our index finger all the way down here on the 8th fret of the E, which is the note C. And the trick is to get these two notes not to move while you're bending the note G up to A a whole step. then we're just doing a real basic bend here to outline a C major. So it's kind of like we're doing the C major triad, except we're starting the major third on the G string, which would normally be on the 9th fret, down here on the 7th fret, and bending up a whole step. And then resolving to the G major. Now for bonus points, you can put the triad on the bottom half of the chord like this. This one's cool. So what I'm doing here is bending the major third up and then stacking the chord underneath that note instead of above it. So like this D major, for example, you would have the 5th and the root and the major third in an E-shaped triad. But the major third on the G string, we're going to move down a whole step and then use those mechanics to bend that up a whole step. And there's all kinds of different shapes you can use here. And then volume swelling, that's big too. Getting that pinky starting right around the middle, right there, so you have some space to max out the volume knob. See how that rolls? Start just before that second knuckle, so that it rolls in like that. Then you got to reach up with your pick, and then it's this kind of motion. You're pulling your elbow up so that you're doing that pull, but also you have some range in your wrist to push down through the strings. And a lot of times I'll transfer from my pinky to my ring finger on the knob just to get that extra range, especially if I'm playing lower chords. Alright, so let's check out another one. Okay, so imagine you're in C, and you're going from C major to your 4 chord, which is F. And then back down to C. So we're bending up the G and the B. The G's going up a whole step to that A, and the B's going up a half step to C. So you get those 2 notes, the major third and the dominant 5th, or the perfect 5th, sorry, of the F chord, which is your 4 chord in C. And then you want to make sure you have your pinky and index finger free to hit bonus notes, like the F up at the top of that triad on the 13th fret of the E. And there's sort of a mechanical trick here. It just sort of works, honestly, especially on a telly, something with a fixed bridge. Where like bending, the middle finger just goes a little bit farther, so that ring finger is only bending a half step, but the middle finger is bending a whole step. And you get used to just like this real mechanical push. You can see how my arm, without really thinking about it, is sort of locking into these memorized positions. So you sort of have to like put yourself in the mindset of being mechanical. Like just imagine you have an aluminum bender built into your arm. Alright, so I think that's it for tonight. We'll take a look at some other bender licks, and thanks for joining me. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, and I'll get around to them and answer all your questions. And if you want to see some other stuff, just let me know. And, you know, go crazy with this stuff. Don't just do exactly what I did. Try and, like, develop on that. Like, go up the entire diatonic chord series and see what notes are practical to bend, and transitioning, and then the knobs too, like the volume knob stuff. The tone is also awesome. Cool, so that's it. Have a good night, y'all.